Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. I know that it's been a while, but I'm happy to reboot my channel, and this video is going to be a lot of things encompassed in this video. I'm back in competition prep, so I wanted to share some of my competition prep journey with you all. And I also just wanted to kind of get more into some lifestyle videos because I know bodybuilding can be a very regimented lifestyle. So I just kind of want to show the other side on how to juggle your training and your fitness and your dieting with everyday life, and how you can enjoy your journey as you're working really hard and kind of taking that time to shoot for your dreams. So thank you all so much for bearing with me. I'm really excited to be back filming for you all. But if you're interested in this video and you're ready to continue this journey with me, keep watching. And as always, let's go. All right, so as mentioned before, I am back in competition prep, which for me is really exciting. I know that prep is very draining on you mentally and physically, but I actually really enjoy the prep process with regard to the fact that it kind of keeps you in a routine, right? So, you know, life, when you're off season, sometimes you're not as regimented as you would be with prep, because you know in prep you can't make any mistakes, or you want to make as little mistakes as possible, because we all know life happens. But you know, when you're off season, you're kind of enjoying life a little bit more. You're maybe going out to eat a little more. Everyone who's in bodybuilding knows that this is like a full-time 365 thing, so your off season is actually very important as well. But you also want to enjoy life, so maybe you'll go out a little more. You'll have some more cheat meals in there, just because you know you're not preparing for a show. So there's a little more balance in your off season. But I kind of like prep because it kind of centers me back into, you know, back in that routine. It kind of gets me back focused, and it really is exciting because I get to see, you know, all the progress I made in the off season, or the improvement season as most like to call it. So I'm really excited. I'm 8 weeks out again. Right now, I don't know, I feel like this prep, every prep is different. I feel like this one we're kind of taking a different approach with my coach and I, with our food and the cardio. I think my first prep was I was really dieted down, and then my second prep I wasn't dieted down as much. I kind of added cardio in later. In this prep I feel like I'm not dieted down as much, but I'm having a lot of cardio. So I feel like this prep is a bit of a combination of my first and second prep. So I'm really excited. This is kind of my road to pro. So sometimes I was nationally qualified last year at the Diamond Classic. My goal right now is, of course, to get that pro card. I know a lot of people do bodybuilding. It just sounds exciting. Get a pro card, you think your life is going to change overnight, which it doesn't happen. So I know that, you know, just wanting a pro card isn't the whole world, but for me, I really love the sport and I really want to push myself in this industry. This is the industry I love, so I really am fighting for that pro card. I want to be able to compete with the best in the world, and I just really want to grow in this sport and build my fitness brand overall. So I'm really excited to be competing in September. I kind of want to give you all an update and just kind of let you know where I am right now. And then I've seen a lot of comments in some videos, so I kind of wanted to use this video as a kind of a random Q&A. Just got to get back on track, and I'm not ignoring anyone. I just kind of had to take some time. I really actually like doing the YouTube and everything, but it's really hard coming up with content. And then sometimes when you just have life going on, you want to make sure you're in a good place mentally, in a good mental space. And I really want to do a video about like mental health and bodybuilding, because it can be a lot on you. So I want people to also have that balance too, because when you're in extreme sports like this, where you're really pushing yourself, or anything that you do to the highest level, you kind of have to be all in. And sometimes that can mess with your, you know, your mental health or your, you know, personal relationships. And it's nice to maybe take a step back and find that balance. So I really want to do a video on that, because no one talks about all that much in this industry, because This is a very physical, outside appearance, critical on your physical appearance type industry. So it's nice to have something to share on the mental, emotional side of it too. So that video is coming soon. But to get to my random questions from the YouTube comments, so let's get into those questions. So one question that I received was how to pick the right show or someone who's just getting into, you know, the bodybuilding industry or competing in the NPC, or more specifically, since wellness is new, I've seen a lot of girls reach out and be like, finally, there's someone who's speaking from a wellness perspective. Just because, of course, like, you know, bikini, figure, all those categories have been around, you know, a lot longer than wellness. And so it's nice to kind of have a perspective from the category that you're interested in, because even though we're all basically doing the same concept, the nuances in each category, you know, it's nice to have something specific towards you. So for wellness or how to pick the right show, I know for me and my coach, like I mentioned in my very first video on what to think about before competing with having a good coach, is I really trust my coach. So the good thing about having a good coach is, you know, if they should have coached other people before you, and it's really helpful if they've competed themselves, so they kind of understand that process. So I really trust my coach. She does give me liberty to be like, okay, at the end of the day, it's your career and she's there to help me. So she does leave a lot of it to me in the sense of like what shows like to choose from, and then me and her kind of work through what's the pros and cons of each and then come to a conclusion. So I wanted to do a show earlier in the year, and then I ended up kind of pushing it back to September, just because I know in wellness, I'm not a big wellness girl. I'm a little on the smaller side of wellness, but I have really great structure and everything like that. So I wouldn't be too discouraged if you're getting to the wellness category and you're not as big as these girls are yet. I think there's this misconception, and I don't know what it is about the wellness categories in particular, that if you're not big and you know you're not already there as an amateur, your first show coming out, it's like, oh well, you're not, this isn't wellness, you should just be bikini. No, if that's the category you want to be in, you work hard for that category that you want. So everything isn't just size, because if everything was just about size, then everyone would stand there and then you would just choose the biggest one and no one would need to pose or anything like that. So you have to build to the structure and the frame that you have. Everyone's body is different. So for me personally, I know I looked really great at my last show. I got first call outs my first national show. I was top 6, which is really good for nationals and first time being on a national stage, so that's great. But I know I wanted to put on a little more size, and I wanted to kind of take my time because I had just did a show in December. So I wanted a little more time for growing season rather than just being like, okay, 3 months, okay, now I'm back in prep, because you can't really count the prep time and your growing time, because obviously in prep you're cutting. So you have to calculate how much time do I want to grow, and then how much time, 3 months or however long your prep is, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, from that point. Now from that point, when do I pick a show? So for me, I would suggest, okay, how long is it going to take me to get to X goal? And from X goal, how many weeks out is it a show? Because a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on just the prep, but there's a lot that needs to go into your body, and depending if you've never done a show before or whatever it may be, to get yourself in a good conditioning to start the prep process. So for me, really base it on your body and you personally, because I know it can be exciting when you see everyone competing and you're like, oh, I just want to do a show, I want to do a show, and then you might jump in a little premature. And then there's also analysis paralysis. Then you wait forever, then you'll never feel ready, you'll always be comparing yourself. So then it is good to just try to just go for it as well. So I know for me, my first show ever, I did the Arnold Classic. I mentioned before, Arnold Classic amateur, of course, so because I know Arnold pros, you have to qualify or be invited to that. So I just kind of went for it. Now, if I looked crazy, my coach wouldn't let me just get on stage. But I felt like, okay, I have a really good structure. I can get on that stage and not look like a complete fool. So you have to trust your coach trust your coach. But you also want to pick, if you know maybe you have like stage fright, or if you're not that comfortable on stage, or if you're a little more introverted, then maybe don't pick a huge show. Pick a very, pick a more local show, a smaller show, just to get, your feet wet, or, just to test the waters. And then once you do that first show, then you can see, okay, was I really confident on stage? Do I need to work on that part? Was it so overwhelming for me? I think that makes a big difference, because maybe pick the smaller of the shows until you build that confidence, and then maybe do a few national qualifiers before jumping on a national stage. So as I mentioned, this video is going to be kind of random questions, so I kind of wanted to categorize things. So the first, so kind of sticking with fitness, but going into more of the diet side. I have like a full day of eating in my meal prep routine videos. So I always get questions about salad dressing and how I make my protein pancakes. So salad dressing, I don't use salad dressing. I use apple cider vinaigrette during prep. On off season, sometimes I'll use like I don't know, like the healthier versions of salad dressing. So it's like the dairy-free, kind of like the alternative to salad dressing. And so that way I know it's like, if it's sugar-free or fat-free or whatever it is, it's not as strict as apple cider vinaigrette, but it's also not like creamy ranch dressing. So, but for the most part, I typically use apple cider vinaigrette because I always have that in my fridge and it's just easy. I like those little chopped salad packs on the off season, because I know I'm eating salads, I'm eating healthy, but when you're, I have a little more room in my macros to maybe add a little more like fruits or nuts or whatever to the salad, just to make it more filling and just different and fun than just very strict. And so usually those little chopped salad packets has the little healthy alternative salad dressing in there. So if it's in there, I'll use that. So yeah, so that's my salad dressing answer. And then with protein pancakes, I got a question on how I make that, which I can do a video on that for you guys to show you how I do it exactly, how I whisk it together and all of that. So my protein pancakes are actually kind of determined by my coach, because she does give me a meal plan for off season as well. So sometimes I'll have a meal plan, and then I'll have a meal plan, and then she also gives me my macros. So if there's a day where I don't want to eat those same meals, I can still track my macros and have a healthy diet lifestyle meal plan for that day, but I didn't follow everything that's on a strict meal plan. So depending on what my macros are, my protein pancakes are anything from 1 to 2 whole eggs whisked together with a palm full of blueberries and a scoop of protein powder. So mix all that together, thicken it up a little bit. I know you can thicken it up with a little almond milk. I know sometimes people do that. I just don't prefer that. I mean, it is what it is. I like it the way it is. And so I just cook it with the eggs and protein powder. Now I have nuts with that, or peanut butter. So a lot of times what I'll do is I will scoop out my macros allotted amount for peanut butter, just to get some healthy fats, and put that on top of the protein pancakes, which is so good, because with the blueberries and the peanut butter in that protein mix, it's kind of like bread. It's kind of like a healthy peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I know that's probably just in my head because I'm always on a diet, and when you're on a diet, anything tastes good. But I mean, I actually really like that even in the off season. So yeah, that's how I make my protein pancakes. So my next question was, how long have I been competing? So this kind of goes in with the whole competing question from earlier, like how to pick a show. So I guess we're still kind of in the same vein here. So I have been competing since March 2020 was my first show. So if you want to count prep, I guess November of 2019. So a little over a year, but I like to count it from the first show. So I've been competing for a little over a year, since March is what I like to calculate it as. Because so wellness is new to the NPC, but I had actually been following wellness for years before it actually came here. So I wanted to compete a few years before the first time I actually competed in 2020. And then I found a coach, and I was like, okay, I want to compete, but I want to compete in wellness. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that is. And so I was just like, I know I seen this category, like, and so I didn't understand. I was still so new to bodybuilding, so I didn't understand that there's different federations. So when I saw IFBB Elite, I didn't realize that IFBB Elite federation is different than IFBB, just IFBB Pro League. So once I figured out that this was something that was going on more so in Brazil, South America, and the UK had wellness at that time as well. So I was like, well, if I compete, I'm probably gonna have to travel, or I was going to compete in bikini, and then I started figure, and I just could not do those preps because I just like, this is not what my body wants. And you have to kind of listen to your body, and everyone's body structure is more susceptible to a certain category. So I know there are people who like force themselves to diet down to bikini, people who are forcing themselves to move up to figure. And so that's why I love the wellness category, because I feel like it gives a nice place for a lot of female athletes who just, whatever their preference may be, just didn't want to do either of those categories. So when I heard that wellness was coming, I was like, oh yeah, I can finally compete. I can finally do, accomplish my dream and do this thing I've always wanted to do. So I immediately looked online to find a wellness coach, because no one in the US was really teaching or was really coaching wellness at that time, because no one really knew what it was. And so I'm so happy that I found my coach. So she's an IFBB Elite Pro in the UK. So Lisa was like someone who knows this category. And so it was a great matching with me and her, and I freaking love my coach. Yeah, but I've been competing for a little over a year. So March would have made it 1 year, and then I'll be doing another show here in September. All right, so this is completely unrelated to fitness and diet and all that stuff, more like a lifestyle question, which is great because I want to give you guys more lifestyle videos, as I have mentioned before. So I got a question about my implants, if they're above or under the muscle. Mine are above the muscle because I told the doctor that I work out a lot, and so they kind of wanted to keep that muscle intact. And if you ever watch like implant videos and that whole process, if you get your implants under the muscle, they basically remove the muscle from the bone or wherever it is, the chest muscle, and then they put the implant under that. So since they wanted to keep that intact, because I was training, and at that time I didn't know if I was going to maybe do a bigger category like figure or something, so I didn't understand like if I was going to be training chest a lot, you never know, because that was before I started competing. So just to be on the safe side, we did above the muscle. I do eventually want to do an upgrade, so I don't know, I might do under, just because what I've seen, but I know the healing process is a little longer if you go under the muscle, so we'll see. But yeah, that's the answer to that. And I really want to do like my implant journey video with you all, because I know when I went through that process, I watched tons of videos on it before I made that decision, and I think that would be helpful, like especially people who work out, because a lot of people want to do it, but if you're training hard, you're like, do I really want to take that amount of time off, or how will that affect my training and all that? So I think it'll be a great video, and a lot of women in this industry, let's be honest, have implants because when you work out really hard, your boobs like disappear. And for me, I did not want that to happen because they were already small to begin with, and every time I worked out really hard, because I've always been athletic and into fitness, so that always happened to me. So it was a great investment, greatest choice. But yeah, so that's the question there. And so I know this video is kind of random, but I just kind of wanted to at least get back in front of my camera, get back filming for you all. I'm sorry, I've lost my voice, so it's coming back. I wanted to film for you all and get back, in my routine. And if there's any videos that you guys really want to see, please comment below, because it really is going to help me, make sure I'm giving you guys content that's going to be helpful to you all. And be sure to follow me on Instagram so you can see my journey on a daily basis as I get ready for my next show. And if you have any, personal training or fitness questions, I am a personal trainer, so be sure to, look in my bio or visit my website for any training programs, or if you want to reach out to me in that way as well. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.